Okay, so to give us more details and information related to employee recruitment, selection and placement, specifically in the government agency, let us all welcome Sir Bobby. Take it away, sir.
Hello, sir. Sound check. Okay po ba?
Yes, sir.
There po. So, good afternoon, everyone. Sir. So, my part is on the employee recruitment, selection, and placement. So, the recruitment, selection, and placement of human resource is a major part of an organization. So, overall sourcing strategies, which identify and secure people needed for the organization to survive and succeed. So the better recruitment and selection procedures results in improved organizational outcomes. So the more effectively an organization recruits and select candidates, the more likely they retain satisfied personnel. So in view of the critical importance of the personnel in the achievement of efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity. So it is also important to determine the strategy by which the recruit, select, and place of organization employee and the contingent workforce in terms of their skills and technical abilities. So, so recruitment, it is the term recruitment is the process of analyzing the job requirements and then finding the prospective candidates or then encourage and stimulate it to apply for the job in organization. So the recruitment program was then designed to attract more and more applicants such that the pool of candidates applies for the job and the organization has more options to select the best out of them. So before I proceed, here's are some sort of brief history on the recruitment. So the old age, which is the day of emperors. So when a baby born, she was believed to be the soldier and was taught the arts of war to join the army. So this was said to be the self-recruitment. So later, there were protests against the emperors for farm fields and for the right to sell goods so directly to the public for a better price. So as they progress, so entrepreneurs started recruiting the labor. And the next is yung industrial revolutions way back 1760s to 1840. So with the rapid increase of industry across nationals, so the need for more manpower, the working conditions were uncertain like child labor, so less wages, poor living conditions, and long working hours. So workers are started forming unions to protest against these conditions and better wage and benefits. So this had led many small and mid-sized agencies to scale up and look at the recruitment as the future. So agencies advertise jobs through bulletin board, newspapers, announcement, and flyers in public places, also in theaters and town halls. So the pre and post World War, so company and the government approached the agencies to recruit manpower. So agencies began to advertise for members of society who were not called into military service. So once the war ended, so the agencies remained with the purpose of finding the returning war veterans. So yung mga, may mga with their new skills. So distributing the yung curriculum vitae on yung resume. So self-written high typewriters take the help of agencies. So the new job searching avenue during this time, so agencies had ownership of candidates just using yung curriculum vitae written by them. In the time of birth of public agencies, so the first proposal to establish a public agency, so it was in 1650 by Henry Robinson. which has are entitled na po, Office of Addresses and Encounters. So it was then uh, established by Henry Robinson during 1650. So it was rejected by the British Parliament since the beginning of the 20th century. So every developed country has created a public recruitment agency as a way to combat unemployment and help people find work. So during the birth of private agencies, so the first private recruitment agency, engineering agency in the USA was formed by Fred Winslow. That was in 1893. So it later became part of General Employment Enterprises, who also owned businesses, clearinghouse, established in 1902. So in 1906 also, Catherine Felton had started recruitment agencies as a response to problems both caused by the San Francisco earthquake and fire. Then yung regulation of the recruitment agencies in 1919, so International Labor Organization of US recommended for the abolition of free charging agencies. So after 14 years of discussions by the government and agency, so unions about this convention, a bill was passed in 1933. So that resulted in abolition of for-profit agencies. So if the agencies were not licensed and a fee scale was not agreed in advance. So the internet age, which is today, so the internet or the WWW was or World Wide Web was launched in 1982. Commercial internet service providers, which is the ISPs, began to emerge in the late 1980s and early 90s, fully commercialized in the US by 1990, since 1995. So the first job portal was launched in 1994 by Monster, and then followed by NeedStart, which is now Career Builder. So in 2000, Web 1.0 and its sequel Web 2.0 have highly influenced recruitment industry by letting recruiters leverage social medias. So there are processes of recruitment. So there, so the recruitment process consists of 5 intermediate stages, which are as follows. So the first one, the recruitment. So the recruitment process begins with the plan. So wherein the vacant job positions are analyzed, and then the comprehensive job draft is prepared, which is includes the job specification and its nature, skills, qualifications, experience needed for the job, and so on. So dito, the recruitment committee decides on the number and the type of applicants to be conducted. So the aim of any organization is to attract more candidates, as some of them might not be willing to join, or some might not qualify for the job position. So the company has a sufficient number of candidates to choose amongst them. So the type of candidates required for the job is well specified in terms of the tasks and responsibilities involved in the job, along the qualification and experience expected. So the next stage is strategy development. So once the comprehensive job draft is prepared and the type and number of recruits required are decided upon, so the next step is to decide a strategy that is adapted while recruiting the prospective candidates in the organization. So the following strategy considerations should be kept in mind. The first one, make or buy employees, so, which means the firm either decides to select less skilled employees and invest in training and education programs, or hard skilled professional. The other one is yung methods of recruitment. So the firm decide on the methods used to recruiting the individuals. So for example, yung sa mga using the internet, so it provides detailed information about the prospective candidates and helps in sorting the best qualified, shortlisting the best qualified individuals. Uh, the next thing to consider is yung geographical area. So the next decision is related to the area from where the candidates shall be searched. So the firm looks for those areas where the handful amount of qualified employees is concentrated. So with a view to curtailing a search cost. Then the last one is yung sources of recruitment. So there are two sources of recruitment, which is the internal source or within the organization and the external source outside the organization. So the firm must decide the source from where the candidates are hired. So mamaya we'll discuss also the two sources. Next step is searching. So once the strategy is prepared, the search for the candidates can be initialized. So it includes two steps, so source activation and selling. So the source activation means the search for the candidate activates on the employee requisition. For example, sorry, so until and unless the so the next point to be considered is ceiling. So which means the firm must judiciously select that media of communication that successfully conveys the employment information to the prospective candidates. So the next steps is yung screening. So the screening means to shortlist the applications of the candidates for further selection process. So although the screening is considered as the starting point of selection, but it is integral portion of the recruitment process. So this is because the selection process begins only after the application and sorry, and although the so this because the selection process begins only after the applications are scrutinized and shortlisted on the basis of job requirement. So the purpose of recruitment here is to remove those applications at an early stage, which clearly seems to be unqualified for the job. So the last one would be evaluation control. So evaluation control is the last stage. So wherein the validity and effectiveness of the process and the methods used therein is assessed. So this stage is crucial because the firm has to check the output in terms of the cost incurred. So I think sabi ko na. So there are two sources of recruitment, which is the internal and external recruitment. So first, so when you say the internal sources of recruitment, so it means hiring people from within the organization. So in other words, seeking applicants for the job position from those who are currently employed with the firm. So in any organization, following are the most internal source of recruitment. So number one is yung transfer. So transfer means shifting an employee from one job to another, typically of similar nature without any change in his rank and responsibility. So the purpose of the employee transfer is to enable him or her to get well versed with the broad-based view of the organization, which is essential for the promotion in the future. Then the next one is yung promotions. So promotions are the most common from the internal recruitment, wherein employees are moved to the upper levels of the organization with more responsibility and prestige. So when the higher level positions fall vacant, so companies recruit from within the organization so as to capitalize one of the following benefits. So the first benefit is the employee is familiar with the working of the organization, less cost incurred as compared to hiring the person from the external sources. So the chance of selection are bright since the performance card of the individual is readily available with the firm. And it also boosts the morale of the employee. So the third one is yung employer referral. So the present employees can refer their friends and family uh, to the job. So they are well aware of organizational culture and working conditions and job requirements. So if they find their friends or family suitable for such position, so they can recommend their names to the management for recruitment. So the organization encouraged employees referrals as the cost and time could be saved and from hiring people from the external sources. So some organization, in order to motivate employees to pay, so in the form of incentives for it. So dito siguro, the former employees are also considered as an internal source of recruitment. So these are the persons who have left the job and wants to come back to work on a part-time or full-time basis. So dito siguro papasok yung mga, I think yung mga consultant na so the other sources is yung external sources. So it means hiring people from outside the organization. So in other words, seeking applicants from those who are external to the organization. So there are several methods for external recruiting. So the firm must carefully analyze the vacant position and then use the method which best fulfills the requirements. The following are the different types of external resources. So the first one is yung media advertisement. So the media advertisement is the most common and preferred source of external recruiting. So the ads, and newspapers, professional journals give a comprehensive detail about the organization type and nature of job position, skills requirement, qualification experience, and so on. So this help an individual to self-evaluate himself against the job requirement and apply for the job within which best suit to him. Other one is yung employment exchange. So the employment exchange is the office run by the government wherein the details about the job seeker such as name, qualifications, experiences, and so on is stored and is given to the employers who are searching for men for their organization. So the next one is yung direct recruitment. So the direct recruitment, also called as a factory gate recruitment, is an important source of hiring, especially the unskilled workers or badly workers who are paid on a daily wage basis. So here, the company puts up a notice on a notice board or on the factory gate regarding the job available, such that the applicants access it and apply for the job directly. The next one is yung casual callers. So the casual callers, also called as unsolicited applications, are the job seekers who come to the well-renowned organization and casually and either mail or drop their job application seeking the job opportunity. So this could be considered as an important source of external recruitment as the personal department maintains the folder and unsolicited applications and call those who fulfill the job requirements whenever the vacancies arises. So the next one is yung educational institution or campus placement. So creating a close liaison with the educational institutions for the recruitment students so with technical and professional qualifications so become a common practice of external recruitment. So here, the companies visit the technical management and professional colleges to recruit the students directly for the job positions. So the recruitment from educational institutions is also termed as campus recruitment. Then labor, then yung labor contractors. So this is the most common form of external recruitment wherein the labor contractors who are either employed with the firm or have an agreement to supply workers to the firm for the completion of a specific type of task. So this method is again used for hiring the unskilled and semi-skilled workers. So the contractor keeps in touch with the workers and sends them to the places where their needs arises. So in doing so, the contractors get the commission for each work supplied. Then the next one is yung walk-ins. So this is again a direct form of recruitment wherein prospective candidates are invited through an advertisement to come and apply for the job vacancy. So in here, specified date, venue, and time are mentioned, and then the candidates are requested to come and give interviews directly without submitting their applications in advance. The next one is yung e-recruiting. So the e-recruiting means searching and screening the prospective candidates electronically. So these are several online job portals that enable the job seekers to upload their resume online, which are then forwarded to the potential hires, such as Naukri.com, Monster.com, Shine.com, and so on. So the last one is yung management consultant. There are several private management firms that act as a middleman, so between the recruiter and the recruit. So these firms help the organization to hire professional, technical, and managerial personnel. So as they specialize in recruiting middle level and top level executive. So these firms maintain data of all the job seekers, such as education, qualification, experiences, and so on. And also give their details to companies who are looking for men. So nowadays, the engineers, accountants, lawyers help their counterparts to get suitable jobs in their industrial organization. So there are comparison of the two sources of applicants. There are in here you can see the advantages, both internal and the external. So in external hiring, yung advantage niya is siyempre yung boost the morale of the workforce, employees' performance and competencies are well known and cost effective, better employee relationship, and it may serve also a kind of training and development for the employee, then better utilization of the internal resources. While in the external, advantage then is yung new employees bring in new ideas to the company, and the company has the opportunity to select the best candidates, and the company also can provide jobs to more people, and the company can maximize its recruitment efforts and improve its roster of employees by hiring competent and high caliber people. It is also finding innovative employees in preparation of new concepts. And the other one is yung publicity and better image for the organization. So kung may advantage, of course, meron namang disadvantage. So in the internal hiring, the disadvantage niya is if no new employees enter the workforce, so walang no fresh ideas come in. The other one is miss out the talent available. Then employees who are not promoted may feel demotivated and lost interest or enthusiasm in their jobs. Anything that does not fit into their own values may spark friction or trigger resignation. Then externally limited choice. Then less competition. Now in the external hiring, so disadvantage niya, so it paves the way for creative stagnation in the company. So the company incurs more cost executing massive recruitment efforts. So it may take time before the best candidates for the position are chosen, especially those that are critical of the company's achievements of objectives, and also time consuming and frustration among employees. So let's go now to the selection. So the selection is the process of choosing the most suitable candidate for the vacant position in the organization. So in other words, selection means weeding out suitable weeding out unsuitable applicants and selecting those individuals with prerequisite qualifications and capabilities to fill the jobs in the organization. So most often, the selection and recruitment are used interchangeably, but however, both have different scope. So the former is an negative process that rejects as many unqualified applicants as possible so as to hire the right candidates, while the latter is a positive process that attracts more and more candidates and stimulates them to apply for the job. So based on the complexity of selecting the right candidates, so the selection process is comprises of several steps. So and then yung preliminary interview, receiving applications, screening of applications, employment test, interview, reference checking, medical examination, final selection, and yung final selection. So the first yung placement. So it means that putting the candidate in position. So post selection considerations. So the HR department prepares the pre-employment requirements. So the next one is yung hiring. The candidate is now hired and given a particular date to report per week. And the next one is yung signing of employment contract. And employment contains the position title, date employed, conditions of employment, starting salary, and the summary of job responsibilities. So a substitute contract is an unwritten adherence of expectations and newly hired employee as well as the employee's expectation. So before before I end my point, here are some inspirational quotes by some of the founders. So according to Bill Gates, the competition to hire the best will increase in the years ahead. So companies that give extra flexibility to their employees will have the edge in this area. According naman kay Richard Branson, founder ng Working Group, so they train people well enough so they can leave. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. Then, according to Steve Jobs, Chairman CEO, the late Steve Jobs, so the secret of my success is that we have gone to exceptional lengths to hire the best people in the world. So, yan lang po. Thank you po.